Hey guys, what's up? I have been wanting to do this video a long time ago, but wasn't able to find the right lighting and the right time because there's so much I want to say about this knife. It's Joe Caswell's EDX Folder, and it comes with this really nice pouch. I love this pouch, really thick and comfy. Okay, the knife is this one, and it comes with this little tool. I'll explain this a little bit later. Okay, the knife is called the EDX, which stands for EDC Extreme. So the knife was meant to be a tool that can be used at extreme situations and extreme conditions, and I really agree with the name. It weighs about 206 grams, or about 7.3 ounces. So it's not a light knife, but trust me, um, for 7 ounces, this knife can do a lot more uh, than other knives. Okay, the clip and the pivot, they are made out of 17-4 stainless steel. Um, those are a industrial standard stainless steel, and the spring inside is made of 17-7. I don't know if you can see the spring. It's right there. 17-7 stainless steel, and of course the frame is made out of 6AL 4B knife maker's grade titanium. It's machined from one bar, so it's not melted nor put together. It's one bar machine, so it's very high in strength. Okay. The heat treat on this blade is 61 to 61.5, and what that number means is that how high the precision in heat treating Joe has done with this blade. Normally, a good precision heat treat gives you a error of 1 or 2 points, but on the EDX, Joe has brought it down to a 0.5, and that's a pretty high heat treat with the CPM 154. Joe has done a lot of tests with the heat treat because he found out that at the 61 and 61.5 appears to be the correct place for this material and in his application, because sometimes a higher heat treat you can make the blade a little bit more fragile, but on the shape and the size of this one, at 61.5, 61 Rockwell hardness, is perfect. It keeps a better retention, and it also gives a lot more strength to the blade. Currently, there are not many EDX out there. Probably, Joe told me that there are 10 delivered right now. Well, a couple months ago, probably, or a month ago, and also there are 12 original prototypes out in the world, and this is the first serial edition, number 8, and I think he does a batch of 20. I might be mistaken though. Every batch, Um, from this is quoting from Joe's email. From a mechanical perspective of the EDX, it's a high-performance folder suitable for hostile environment and high eccentric load. So the design is made for a cutting, slicing, and you can use it for prying or twisting when you're cutting, because of this really wide blade. And it's actually a pretty thick blade if you see it from the top, but Joe has ground it pretty thin at the end, so it's a really nice slicer. Okay, the blade thickness is 0.160 inch thick, and that's pretty thick. Okay, that's a really good thickness. It's a balance between the strength and the weight. Anything thicker than this, the blade will become a little bit heavy. Okay, the design that Joe has on this one, quoted from him. The industrial design concept underlying the EDX is influenced by postmodern minimalism as expressed in old tool design, 1890s to current, furniture design, 1900 to about 1960s, aircraft and related support hardware, 1930s to 1960s, and architecture of the 1930s. These design concepts are also seen in watches such as Panerai and except for the more extreme example from periods tend to be timeless, current in any era. So when Joe designed this knife, he put all these classic and post-modern design into it. So this knife, when you look at it, it's very different from current design, which has all these really cool sweep up or pointy, or all these ergonomic handles. On this one, it's designed to be used. That's why Joe has this straight handle, and to have less hot spot when you're using it really hard, and all these the design that make the clip goes away when you open it up. It's also the reason to make less possible hot spot for your hand when you're using it really hard. Okay, this is a strong tool. Instead, it's more of a tool than a weapon associated. And since the knife is made to be carried, as I said, Joe tried to make the design when you are using it as comfortable as possible in the hand. So all these little details, for example, the jimping on top, it's really useful. There's not a lot of jimping, but it works, and it doesn't hurt, or it doesn't get your thumb sore. Okay, but the big thumb studs here that you look works as the blade stop, and these are really big thumb studs, and lays perfectly with the handle, as you can see there. Okay, the incredible part of this knife, some of the incredible part, is that the handle is tapered. I have not seen a knife, a custom knife, consider that custom folding knife, considering the tapering of the handle. On this one, it is tapered. There's 0.220 inch on top and 0.147 at the bottom, and that is a amazing design because it just feels much better in the hand, and also it will shave some weight out. Okay, the video might go to part 2 because the camera cannot take more than 10 or 11 minutes. But I'll just keep videotaping because there's some more I want to say. Let's talk about the pivot. Joe calls it the lockdown pivot system, which is in this paper. You guys can pause it and read about it. It's a very complicated pivot system, which in essential, and it gives you this really cool tool for the pivot. It's in essential. It lets you how to say loosen. Oh, not loosen. It lets you modify. Yeah, that's a word. Modify the blade action without loosen the pivot, which is something that not many custom knife maker think about it. The pivot system you can make it really tight without affecting the blade action. It's kind of like 7-SAS pivot, all 7-SAS pivot, but in a more sophisticated way of doing it. Okay, it's that's what I understand from the manual, but it's much more sophisticated than that. Okay, the feeling of the blade, the folder, is really smooth. Joe has blasted the surface and then stone wash it, and the blade. Hey guys, sorry for the cutoff. We continue. Joe has blasted the surface of the handle and the blade, and then stone washed it. And as you can see, even with the same procedure, sorry for the bump. Even with the same procedure, Joe has managed to make the knife look different color, which has a lighter color on the blade and darker color on the stone washed titanium frame, which is really nice. I don't know if you can see the texture on the blade, but it's really cool. It's really smooth, but it has these little textures on the blade, and of course the handle is just full industrial look kind of look. It's just this big chunk of titanium look, kind of like something that will withstand a bombing or earthquake or big natural disasters. Okay, let's go into the use of the knife. The knife is unlocked by pushing this lock bar up, and you can close it. It has some tension, as you can see. It has a tension. The tension is good in case you open it and it cuts you. So this is a really good thing for a safety reason. And the blade stop right there, and then you have to really like push it to close it. It's kind of like the slip joint with a double tension. There's one tension, the blade doesn't move a lot, and then another tension. and you lock it. The lock is extremely well, and there are absolutely no movement, not even the tiniest wiggle, not even the tiniest wiggle. And as you can see, the blade handle is designed really clean. You only see a pivot, and at the end a yes, kind of like standoff, but I don't know how call it. It's not really a standoff. Okay, and that's the other side of the handle. Everything on the side is really well polished, so no sharp edges. So when you hold it, when your meat, or my fatty hand, when your meat gets stuck into this part, or I don't know, it just feels really good. It doesn't hurt in any position that you want to grab this knife. Okay, um, the length is done perfectly, or at least for my hand. um, I can move around this on this handle. Some other knife makers design, which are also good, they have curves or finger churls, which is good also. It gives you a lot more traction, but on this knife, since the main purpose is to use it as a tool, as a working tool, it gives you a lot of different position to hold the folder. You can grab it really at the end, or you can grab it like really at on top. Um, it is a little bit sharp here, but you can use tip if you really need like a reach. You can carry it that way; it will not cut you. Um, the big blade is really useful. The wide blade, because when you cut something, let's say apple, uh, it's easier to cut with a wider blade than a really short and pointy blade. Oh, by the way, the blade style is called the sheep's foot blade style, but I Wikipedia it, and the sheep's foot blade doesn't mean that the blade looks like a sheep's foot. That's what I thought uh, before. The sheep's foot blade just because it's delivered from a blade that cuts the hair of sheep's hoofs. At least that's what I understood. So it's really cool. It's just a interesting point to discuss here, I guess. Okay, the blade is really sharp, really thin, and it's really uniform. So when you're cutting something, you will not get stuck. Maybe I love compound grind. I absolutely love compound grinds. They just look so awesome. But in term of using uh, the, the big flat grind really cuts and slides better. Okay. What else I want to say about? There's so much still I want to say about this knife. Anyway, Joe is making a big batch for a very special dealer. Um, about I think about 50 knives, and I will not say who, so don't ask. Um, you can ask Joe if he wants tells you, he will. And so just check out all these knife custom knife dealers website. It should pop up soon. And if you get a chance to buy one of these, which is at the price point that I received, it's not very expensive, because there's just a lot of brain and design and time devoted to this knife, and for the price that I paid, I really think it's cheap. I really think I should pay double uh, what I paid. And but well, anyway, I didn't pay double. I paid really a good price on this one. So if you guys get a chance to get one, or even to hold one or check out one, please do so, because this is really cool working folder. um, the clip you see here, you can have it on your right pocket, or you can switch it to your left pocket, kind of like uh, Graham's tail clip, very similar. But this one is tip up, and Joe also told me that the tip up carry on this one is just it's just a better feel. That's why he could have done it. Did I say tip up? He could have done it tip up, but he said the tip down carry was better. Okay, and I believe so, because I have carried a little bit, and it is really cool. When it goes in your pocket, it just snaps because of this tip here. It just click and stays there really tightly, and it doesn't move around. Everything is just perfect. And of course, you can open it with one hand like that. Okay, but on closing you really need two hands. You can also, like, flick it, but I like to open it slowly, just look cooler that way. And all this mechanical sound that you hear, it's just makes you smile every time you open it. Great tension. Alright guys, perfect centered. And I cannot say more about this knife. That's a Boss heat treat. He's like the #1 in heat treating, in blade heat treating business. um, I don't know, there's just a lot of thing more I want to say about this knife, and that's just all stuck in my little brain. But I think I've said most of the things. So you guys check out this really cool standoff, shiny. Alright guys, thank you for staying with me this long, and let me know if you guys have any questions. And Joe's email and websites here, telephones here, and give him a call, ask him anything you want. And he's really nice guy also. He's really nice guy. He wrote me like a full 3 pages of email, and for some simple question that I asked, he really took his time for his customers. So that's about it. Thank you for watching, and